All right, let's dive into a song that's been making some waves lately, Unfiltered. We've got a deep analysis of the lyrics here, and it gets into some really interesting stuff about, well, being yourself when the world's telling you to be something else.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how Unfiltered isn't just like a catchy tune. It's a whole story, a transformation. The lyrics, they take us on this journey from feeling isolated and doubtful to like a powerful moment of self-acceptance.
Yeah, I'm curious about that journey, how it all unfolds. The analysis mentions 7 verses, which is a lot these days. What's happening in those first few verses?
So the first couple verses, they paint this picture as someone who's struggling to fit in, almost like they're invisible, compared to what everyone expects. There's this image of shadows, like the person's always hidden, trying to be smaller, less noticeable.
So it's not just about wanting to be different, it's about feeling unseen, even unheard, maybe.
Exactly. There's a line in the second verse that really struck me. My voice a whisper, lost in the roar of conformity. It just perfectly captures that feeling of being stifled, wanting to speak your truth, but feeling drowned out by all the pressure to, just conform.
Wow, that's powerful imagery. And how does that connect to being unfiltered, which is what the song's all about?
Well, in the third verse, things start to change. It's subtle, but the language becomes a bit more defiant. Instead of shadows, there's like a spark, a tiny ember of self-belief.
Oh, I see. So it's not like a sudden change, but more like a gradual awakening.
Exactly. And that leads to a big realization in the fourth verse. The protagonist figures out that trying to please everyone else, seeking their approval, it's actually what's holding them back.
And that's where the chorus kicks in, right? That bold statement of rejecting everyone else's approval.
Exactly. But it's interesting, musically, how the chorus is put together. It doesn't start out loud and defiant. It builds like a wave.
So even the music shows that journey, from being quiet to something much more powerful.
Yes. The music, mirrors the lyrics. It underscores how the protagonist goes from feeling muted to, finding their voice.
That's really cool. It's like the music is actually showing us what's happening emotionally.
Right. And that choice, it makes the message hit even harder. It's not just saying be unfiltered. It's showing us what that process feels like.
I can see why this song resonates with so many people. It's more than just a slogan. It's a really thoughtful exploration of being authentic.
Absolutely. We're just scratching the surface here. There's so much more to uncover as we get into the later verses in the bridge.
Well, I am hooked. Let's keep going.
So we were talking about the chorus, how it kind of feels like a wave building, And that energy, it really carries into the fifth verse. That's where things get, maybe a little more confrontational.
Confrontational? How so? Is it like the person in the song is talking directly to the people who are holding them back?
It's not quite like that. It's more internal, It's like they're finally facing up to their own part and letting themselves be dimmed. There's this line, I built those walls brick by self-doubt, but now I'm tearing them down.
So it's more like they're confronting their own choices, realizing they played a role.
Exactly. It's a big moment of self-awareness. Realizing freedom isn't just about pushing back against outside pressures, it's also about changing your own mindset.
That reminds me, the analysis mentioned a key change in the music right before this verse.
Oh yeah, and key changes, they often signal a turning point in a song, like a shift in perspective or emotion. Here, the key change lifts the energy, gives the music a feeling of, triumph.
It's so cool how the music itself reinforces the lyrics. It's like we're hearing that internal breakthrough happen.
Totally. And that feeling of liberation, it really takes off in the bridge, which comes right after that fifth verse. It's short lyrically, but wow, it's emotionally powerful.
What makes the bridge so powerful?
It's pure self-expression, no holding back. The melody soars, and the lyrics are so bold. There's a line, it always gets me. I'll no longer dim my light for those who prefer the dark. It's like a declaration, a refusal to let anyone else dictate their worth.
That's such a powerful image, and it ties into what the analysis said about the song's cultural significance, right?
Exactly. Unfiltered isn't alone in exploring these themes. It reflects a bigger cultural movement. Embracing individuality, challenging norms. We see it everywhere, from body positivity to wanting more diversity in media.
So Unfiltered is like a musical representation of this whole cultural shift.
Exactly. It taps into that desire for authenticity that so many people feel. It speaks to breaking free from the pressure to conform and embracing who you are.
And that's so important, especially now when we're bombarded with messages about who we should be and how we should look.
Absolutely. Unfiltered. It's like an anthem for anyone who's ever felt pressured to fit in when it didn't feel right. It reminds us we can define our own worth, celebrate what makes us unique.
It's not just about individual empowerment, though, is it? The analysis also talked about social connection.
Right. It's not enough to just embrace your own unfiltered self. It's also about making space for others to do the same. In the 6th verse, there's a line, "Let your light shine so others can find their own spark."
That's beautiful. It's about fostering a community of authenticity, not just individual isolation.
Exactly. Real connection, it happens when we're genuine, flaws and all. And when we encourage others to be themselves, we create this ripple effect of acceptance and belonging.
Like the song is making space for healing and empowerment together, not just alone.
Precisely. It's a powerful message, especially in a world where so many people feel isolated. Unfiltered reminds us we're not alone, and when we embrace who we are, we can create a more compassionate world for everyone.
Wow, this is incredible. We've gone from feeling isolated to this message of collective liberation and connection.
And we still have 1 verse to go. The way Unfiltered ends is really interesting, especially how it circles back to those images of shadows from the beginning.
I can't wait to hear about it. Let's dive into that final verse. Okay, so the last verse brings back those shadows from earlier. I'm curious how it all comes together.
Yeah, it's subtle, but really well done. Remember that line from the 2nd verse about a voice being a whisper, lost in the roar of conformity? Well, in this last verse, there's a similar image, but it means something totally different. It says, "Now I cast a shadow, long and strong. It's the shape of who I was meant to be."
Oh, wow, yeah. So instead of being hidden by the shadows, now they're casting their own, and it represents, their true self.
Exactly. It's a total transformation. The protagonist isn't trying to disappear anymore. They're owning their individuality. That shadow, it's not about insecurity anymore. It's about their growth and acceptance.
It's like they've stepped into their power, and now it's visible to everyone.
Right. And it connects to something you said before about Unfiltered being a cultural touchstone. Something important for a lot of people.
Oh, right. How does the ending fit into that?
Think about it. By casting a shadow that shows their true self, the protagonist making a mark on the world. It's like they're inspiring others to do the same, to be themselves and create their own unique shadows.
So it's not just a personal thing, it's about encouraging everyone to be more authentic.
Exactly. And that's what makes Unfiltered so impactful. It's not just a fun song, it's a call to action, It's saying, let's make a world where everyone feels free to be themselves.
We've talked a lot about the lyrics and the music, but I wonder, what about the people listening to this song? What's the impact been like? What does the analysis say?
The analysis talks about how people from all kinds of backgrounds have connected with Unfiltered. People have shared stories about how it helped them be more true to themselves or be more confident or stand up for what they believe in.
That's amazing. It's like the song's actually helping people change, both personally and as a society.
Yeah, and it shows how music can really touch people and inspire them to do great things.
This whole deep dive's been incredible. We've uncovered so much in Unfiltered, from the tiny details in the words to the way the music brings the story to life. But I think the biggest takeaway for me is that it's not just a song, it's a reminder that we can all embrace who we are, create our own unique mark on the world, and inspire others to do the same.
I couldn't agree more. It's a song that tells us we can write our own stories, decide our own worth, and build a world where everyone feels seen and appreciated for who they are.
And as we wrap up this deep dive into Unfiltered, I want to leave you with a question to think about. If you could get rid of just one expectation that society puts on you, what would it be and why? Think about that and let Unfiltered be your guide as you explore who you are and embrace all those beautiful, messy, perfectly imperfect parts of yourself.